Batgirl issue 1, Tate Brombal writing with Takeshi Miyazawa on the art. So we got a new Cassandra Cain Batgirl book, and it freaking rocked. If I can be so bold.
She's such a simple character, so when they can really lean in to what makes her work, it just makes whatever story she's in,
Yeah, this felt
fantastic.
so old school to me in all the best ways. It felt like a Cassandra Cain comic from the 2000s, except for the fact that she talks a bit more because she's she's more experienced and she's older. But like her narration is just all these one words like glance, touch, heartbeat, smile as she's looking at Lady Shiva, obviously her mother, and just like Cass saying things like, "I do not believe her. She is lying." She's reading her through body language, which is the first language she ever learned. And it's like that's like a core part of this. And the plot of this is basically Lady Shiva's here to say to Cass, "Hey, we need to run away together because there's a group of bad guys coming to kill both of us, and we have to go." And Cass is basically, "Piss off! I'm not going with you. I'm
You're
Batgirl."
a liar. Every time we've done this thing, it's been some manipulative,
And she killed a security guard. It was like a dead guard, like lying on the floor. And because Cassandra's like, "Who is this? You killed someone. No killing. It's that simple."
Well, and I love that she was like, "I required privacy," and this imbecile challenged. And then when Cass is like, "No, no killing," she just puts her hands up, like, "All right, you got me. I'm not going to try to lie here." Again, the art really sticking through. Or showing through here.
Yeah, I really liked here as well. Is like the art is excellent, and I'm not familiar with this artist that well, but one of the things that I really liked about it is that when she's trying to convince Cass, and Cass is reading her, right? So it's basically just Lady Shiva's talking and saying, "Oh, these armed guys are coming. They're train killers. They're going to get us. We have to leave. Understand?" And Cassie's narration is just desperate and then not lying, and then Lady Shiva says, "Read me, daughter. Read my body language like I taught you. I do not lie." And in that panel at the bottom, when Cass starts speaking, the way she looks at her, like, I love the expression, and which is saying something, because Cassie's outfit obviously means you can't, like, you've only got a certain ways you can make her express.
Yeah.
But the expression reads as, like, okay, I hate to admit that I know she's not lying, but that doesn't mean that she trusts her. It doesn't mean that she's willing to jump in with both feet. It felt there was a lot of performance in that reaction to that sentence, "I do not lie," and the reluctance to accept it, but knowing that it's true. So she has to at least pay attention to what she's saying.
Well, and then that comes around towards the end of the book too. The end of the issue about Shiva lying or not, and so it really sets that. That's kind of the keystone of this issue, is that "I do not lie" and Cass's reaction to it.
Yeah. And Cass, of course, says "I do not lie" in her narration to be like she's chosen not to lie. My favorite part of all this, which is during the fighting, and the fighting is great. All these blue outfitted assassins like jump in the window. They're kind of like ninjas, obviously.
Yeah.
And they come to attack them, and fight ensues, and it's a whole thing. But Cass has got a great monologue, effectively, in her narration as this is happening, as she starts to fight, where she basically talks about how she does the whole "My name is Cassandra Cain. I am Hal Jordan, Green Lantern of Sector 2814." She kind of does that shtick.
I'm Wally West, the fastest man alive.
There you go, more of that. But she's like, "Oh, I was bred to be the perfect weapon. I was raised to be like a killer. I was raised to read my victim's next move." I love the use of the word victim as well. She doesn't say opponent, she says victim, because it's her acknowledging what she was actually supposed to be doing.
She was made to be the perfect weapon, right?
But she's like, "I didn't choose any of this. But what I did choose, I didn't choose my origins, I didn't choose anything. But I did choose my current family. I did choose to be an orphan. I did choose to be Batgirl. I did choose to not kill, and I did choose to, this whole monologue that she makes during this fight scene. Like, I loved it. It was like a mission statement for the character. It was like, hey, if you don't know who Cassandra Cain is, this gets across so much of it in such a nice, succinct way. But it felt like it was spoken in her voice, because it was this broken up narration of just little bits at a time.
Yeah, and the fact that she says, because I'm Batgirl, and no one, not even my mother, will ever take that from me. This is the choice that she made.
Yeah.
This is who she became. And that why she might be Shiva's daughter, right? That wasn't her choice. but Batgirl is. And I really love that summation is as they're teaming up to beat the piss out of these blue ninjas.
Yeah, no, I love it. And that whole thing ends with her saying, "Read me, I do not lie," which is what Shiva said to her, but now Cass is saying it to us. Cass is saying it to the audience. It's kind of a declaration of like who she is, and it paints a picture of this really strong character who knows who she is, and for all the things that Cass might seem young and innocent and all the rest of it, there's like some real beauty in the sense of like how well she understands herself and how she's found her purpose and who she is. So the action's fun. Shiva like jumps out the window with her and tells her to fly, i.e. glide with her cape, which she does. And Cass actually Batman's out of the scene. Like Shiva like stands up, says, "Okay, finally you're on my side, daughter. Now this is where we're going to go." And she explains her next part of her plan. She turns around and she's gone, and she's like, "Oh, that's her father's influence." Which references something Cass like said in her narration earlier, where she said, "I'm Batman's daughter by choice." So,
which I love that too, right? Because that's her choice. That's the parent. Like she goes, "I'm an orphan by choice, but I'm Batman's daughter by choice." Which means she found her family. She found where she belonged. And so when she does the Batman out of the situation, it gets because the art there, it's got Shiva in the middle of this road, and she looks very small.
Yeah. It's funny because when you compare them and think about it, like Cass is like the very sweet, nice version of Damien. Damien's like kind of similar. He's bred to be a certain thing. He's supposed to have all these things, and he's has this destiny as the future, demon or heir to the bat, whatever one it is, and he's a little shit about it. Whereas Cass is like got this very kind of Cass is like the monk version of Damien.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe it.
Because she is humble, right? Because she knows. And like she knows to hold back, and Damien's like, "Why are we holding back? We're Batman's kids. We can do what we want." And she's like, "Yeah, but not really." So I like that dynamic.
She has inner peace, which is just something that
what's that?
Damien will be lucky if he ever encounters it. But then there's an explosion at the temple that she was going to go to, and then Cass pops back into the scene, which has actually almost made me laugh that she disappeared out of the scene and then popped back in as soon as an explosion happened, which made me think, oh, you were just like hiding behind a car on the side. Like you hadn't left the scene. You were just like, okay, I'm hiding until Shiva walks away and then I can leave.
Yeah. It's that thing where Batman's hiding on the other side of the door going like, "Don't come through here, don't come through here, don't come through here." Right? But yeah. And here's the thing, she has a temple to her. Is that a new thing with Shiva? Because I'm not that familiar. I know she's like the most deadly killer in DC, but when she said her temple and there's there's like the Order of Shiva, is that something new or is that something that's always been around?
It didn't sound surprising when she said it.
No,
so it feels...
I wasn't shocked. I was shocked. I wasn't like surprised by it. I just didn't know if that was something that's always been in the lore or not.
I don't remember is the honest answer, Matt. I don't remember.
I'm gonna look while we go through this now.
So they run up to the building, and there's like one like guy who's still kind of alive, and Cass is trying to like see if there's any survivors and help them. Arrows start flying into the building, and Shiva catches one that was about to hit Cass, and she calls Cass sloppy, and sort of chastises her with a smirk in her face for it. So the blue ninjas come in, and we get a bit more of a sort of standoff where they kind of surround Shiva, and she's goes into like and again the art here is pretty good because she goes into kind of like a martial arts pose, but it's like one of the more kind of like unique ones where it's like sort of like tiger claws she's doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, the big final page though is like Cass making the choice to jump in and help her fight, and being like, I am Batgirl, I am all the things I said, but tonight I have to be her daughter and she's my mother. So because Shiva says test your luck, and Cass jumps in and says no luck, only us, which is kind of a badass line actually. It's a great final page as well because there's like fire spreading around the building around her, so Cass is just kind of standing in the flames. I really like this. It was a super easy read for a start. It flowed really well. I thought the voice for Cass was down. I think the way she was kind of like playing off of her mother really like had a great rhythm to it because it's Cass rejecting everything, but ultimately she's going to not be able to resist helping her because she's too good of a person. And then the action looked great. I don't know. I was very, very happy with this.
Yep, me too. Well, and that's the thing. I was looking up to see if the Order of Shiva. That seems to be something that's newer. I'm not seeing it come up in any of the Google searches, but the whole thing where she says, it's the difference from the glance, heartbeat, smile, right? Where at the end it says sweat, dilate, quiver. She's lying. And the time that she lies is when she says that, oh, my daughter means nothing to me, so kill me but spare her because she has no part of this, And that was Shiva's kind of move to save Cass, and the fact that
that's what inspires Cass to jump in effectively, is that she can tell she's lying now when she says something like that.
Yeah, because this running theme of they don't lie, right? And all of this stuff is so different now. These are the tells that Cass can see in her first language. And that's what makes her go, oh no, she's lying to save me. She's going against what she normally does. And I thought that was actually really beautiful storytelling.
Yeah. Although Shiva got such an evil smirk in her face in that last page. Like, I'm like,
I got her.
It feels like she was playing her, like at some level. I mean, I think Cass knows she's being played to some extent, but I think Shiva's like, oh, I played a card there and it worked.
Yeah. Well, and so in these blue ninjas, I don't know if you said that they're called the Unburied, and there's something that's happened that they're coming after Shiva and Cassandra, and I'm wondering who else, from the martial arts kind of things, if they're going to show up. But yeah, they're very kind of League of Assassins, but just a little bit off, right? Very, very similar.
Yeah, okay. They're an army of ninjas. They're always going to be compared to the League of Assassins because that's the main one we've got in DC. So, no, I love this. Art was great. Voice for Cass was great. Simple story, simple payoff that really worked. And the writing, the way it came back around again at the end with the lie. No. Excellent. I honestly really probably couldn't ask for more for an issue 1 of a new Cassandra Cain book.
We're feasting with Batgirl stuff right now. It's ridiculous.
I know.
I love it.
All right, what are you rating Batgirl?
I'm gonna give it a 9.
Yep, I agree. 9 out of 10. Loved it.
I thought you were gonna go 9.5.
Come on. I can show some restraint.
Yes, I can't.